Do you ever find yourself struggling for words when you pray? You're not alone. Even Jesus' disciples didn't always know how to pray, so they asked him. And that's when Jesus gave them and us the Lord's Prayer. It's more than just a beautiful prayer. It's a source of strength for when we feel weak or overwhelmed. Each line is packed with power and can speak for us when we have no strength to pray. Let's walk through it and see how each line can become your lifeline, especially when you feel too tired or lost for words. Line-by-line explanation. Our Father, who art in heaven. Imagine being a child calling out to a loving parent who is always watching over you. This opening line reminds us that we're not talking to a distant, uncaring force. We're speaking to our Heavenly Father. When you're overwhelmed, it's like reaching up for a parent's hand, knowing He's there to guide and protect you. Example, think of a child lost in a crowd. When they see their parent, they feel instantly safe. Calling God Father brings that same comfort, knowing He's near no matter where we are. Hallowed be thy name. This line is a powerful reminder to lift our eyes off our problems and focus on the greatness of God. Saying hallowed means we're honoring His name, and when we do that, we see His power over every situation. Illustration. Imagine being in a dark room, scared and unsure. When you flip the light switch, the darkness disappears. By hallowing God's name, you're flipping the spiritual light switch, reminding yourself of His mighty presence, even in your darkest moments. Thy kingdom come. When life feels like chaos, this line asks for God's perfect rule in our lives. We're inviting His kingdom, where there's peace, love, and justice, to replace the brokenness around us. Example, think of this like inviting a master artist to fix a painting that's been ruined. Our lives can feel messy and broken, but we're asking God, the perfect artist, to restore everything the way He intended. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. In moments of confusion, when you don't know what to pray for, this line is powerful. You're trusting that God's will is greater than yours, like handing the steering wheel to someone who knows the road better than you. Illustration. Imagine being on a road trip without a map, feeling lost. Letting God's will be done is like having the perfect GPS. He knows the best route, even when you can't see the way. Give us this day our daily bread. This line teaches us to trust God with our daily needs, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual. It's like saying, God, I don't need to worry about tomorrow, just give me strength for today. Example, imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with worries for tomorrow and the next day. This line encourages you to set the backpack down and trust that God will provide for today, one day at a time. And forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Forgiveness is powerful, both when we ask for it and when we give it. This line releases us from guilt and bitterness, freeing our hearts to experience God's grace. Illustration, think of forgiveness as a weight being lifted off your chest. It's like unclenching your fist, releasing hurt and anger to receive the peace God offers. When you're too tired to forgive, this prayer helps soften your heart and lead us not into temptation. When you feel weak and vulnerable, this line asks God for guidance. It's like asking for a shield, protecting us from making choices that would harm us. Example, imagine walking through a narrow, dangerous path, but there's a guide ahead of you, showing you where to step and what to avoid. God is that guide, keeping us from harm when we're too tired to walk carefully. But deliver us from evil. In moments of fear or anxiety, this line calls on God's protection. It's a request to be rescued from anything that threatens to overwhelm or harm us. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. This closing line declares that all power belongs to God. It's a reminder that no matter how small or weak we feel, God is in control, and His power is eternal. Example, imagine standing at the foot of a mountain, feeling small, but knowing that the one who created that mountain holds the world in His hands. This line reminds us that no matter what we face, God's power is greater. The Lord's Prayer isn't just something to say out of habit. It's a prayer full of strength and comfort. When you're too tired, too hurt, or too overwhelmed to pray anything else, this prayer becomes your voice, reminding you that God is with you. So in those moments when you can't find the words, let the words Jesus taught carry you, and let His power give you the strength you need.